get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling. WB, get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play your role, get where you need to. You can tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling is the show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in, WB. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling, WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is the show, my people. Believe our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, this the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the things that will feel happen and I got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling, WB. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling, WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is the show, my people. Believe our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the things that will feel happen and I got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling, WB. Get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play your role, get where you need to. You can tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling is the show with no matter even if you're at home. Just call in, WB. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling, WB. Be yourself, see yourself, this is the show, my people. Believe our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes, WB. And all the things that will feel happen and I got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice our opinion and place your calling, WB. another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put the time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice of opinion and place your calling, be yourself, see yourself, this is the show my people. Believe our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes to be. And all the things that we happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice of opinion and place your calling, get up, make every day count. Don't waste it, people. Do your part, play around, get where you need to. You can tune in for work or in your vehicle. If you got a problem, pick up the phone. Why wait till the time calling is the show? It no matter even if you're at home. Just call in, trouble your bed. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice of opinion and place your calling, be yourself, see yourself, this is the show my people. Believe our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes to be obey. And all the things that will happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better, we got to unite. Belize, yeah. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice of opinion and place your calling, be. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving, na 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 na. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Everybody gotta put their time in. Wake up, Belize, wake up, Belize. Voice of opinion and place your calling, be yourself, see yourself, this is the show my people. Believe our hopes so to needless reason. Nobody feel left out, is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution, yeah, yeah, yeah. No respect, unselfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes to be obeyed.
All right, welcome. This is WUB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes on a Friday morning, 22nd day of August 2025, and we welcome you to the program this morning. I'm Nuri Muhammad, holding the fort on this Friday morning. We do have some guests coming in, but I think we may have some space to entertain some phone calls this morning likewise. As you know, we go through certain steps before we get into the main agenda. We start with a look at the weather. This morning we have Crystal, the Rosales, will give us an update, and then I'll bring you up to date with the package prepared by our news center. And a little after 7 o'clock, as I said, we do expect guests coming in at that time. So, Miss Rosales.
Morning. Mainly fair weather prevails over the country. And in the 24-hour forecast, skies will be sunny with a few cloudy spells today and then clear to partly cloudy tonight. Generally isolated showers and thunderstorms, with a few more are expected over southern areas. And then high temperatures will reach around 89 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 96 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and then 83 degrees Fahrenheit in the mountains. Low temperatures for tonight will reach around 82 degrees Fahrenheit along the coast, 73 degrees Fahrenheit inland, and then 68 degrees Fahrenheit in the hills. Winds over the open sea will be from the east at 10 to 20 knots, with sea conditions being light chop and then becoming moderate by tonight. High tides occur at 9:08 this morning and then at 10:09 tonight. Low tides at 4:14 this evening and then at 3:33 tomorrow morning. The moon will set at 6:04 this evening and then rise at 5:54 tomorrow morning, while sunset is at 6:13 this evening and sunrise at 5:37 tomorrow morning. And then in the extended forecast for Saturday and Saturday night, showers or thunderstorms will be isolated, and then a few more are expected over the south during the night time. And finally, for the tropical weather outlook. At 3 a.m., Hurricane Erin was located near latitude 38.6 north and longitude 65.3 west, or about 435 miles north of Bermuda. Erin was moving to the northeast at 22 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of 90 miles per hour. Then, showers and thunderstorms associated with a tropical wave located over the tropical Atlantic has a medium chance of development as it moves westward. Then there was another tropical wave located about 100 miles east-northeast of the northern Leeward Islands, with showers and thunderstorms showing some signs of organization. This system has a high chance of development during the next 48 hours. Please note that none of these systems currently poses no threat to Belize. And this has been this morning's weather report from the National Meteorological Service.
The first private radio in Belize since 1989, Creme FM presents the news. Informative, accurate, current information, local, regional, and international news, weather and sports. And now, the news.
Belize's coastline is under siege by Sargassum, and stakeholders are awaiting a more urgent response from the central government. Weeks have passed since the Prime Minister floated the idea of declaring the invasion a national emergency. Since then, the macroalgae continues to pile up, putting livelihood at risk. The call is growing louder for decisive action to be taken. Several stakeholders we spoke with on Thursday explained just how much of a national emergency the Sargassum invasion is. It is greatly impacting the tourism sector and has started choking the fragile ecosystem or marine ecosystem, putting fishers' livelihoods at risk. Biodiversity scientist Valentin Rosado is science advisor to the mayor of San Pedro Town Council and is helping to maintain a 1-mile stretch along the beach free of sargassum. They call it the tongue core, and Rosado says that it is all that they are able to afford. What's more, Rosado says that they are only working with about 40% of the resources needed to maintain just that small stretch. He estimates that the weekly operational cost ascends to $40,000 with one shift of between 20 to 30 workers. He emphasized that it is easier to remove the sargassum when it is fresh rather than when it has dried and become matted.
This is the worst year. We've had some years that have been really bad, but it's been consistent. Every year we get sargassum, right? The challenge with us this year is that it began in February and it hasn't given us any break. So usually we'll have a couple of days or a couple of weeks come in and then it eases off. Then throughout the year, then it continues off and on. But this year, since February, it's been non-stop. The most I've recorded was like 3 days break, right? So when you see 3 days break, it doesn't mean we're stopping. It just means that all the accumulations or area that you didn't get to, right? Then we begin to focus on those areas, or staff take days off, or we begin to look at maintenance of equipment. And we don't even finish with that. And when we notice, sargassum begins again, and then we have to dedicate to it. And you know, it's just something that we've also realized that we can't just let it be, right? We can't just stop picking up sargassum, because every day that we don't go out and clean up, it just continues to accumulate. And unfortunately, it's not going to disappear. We still need to come in and take it out. And usually when you're dealing with sargassum that's more than 3 years old, that's the worst, because it costs more. You expose the staff more, you expose the equipment more, right? So, the priority is it has to be early, and we have to have the resources to deploy immediately. We've looked at all the options that people talk about: big machinery, suction systems, helicopters. We've looked at all the possible options and ideas that people come up with. And I've come up with a criteria to determine whether they're feasible. First of all, you need to look at the capital expenditure, how much it's going to cost. Once you purchase it, then there's a maintenance cost that you have to incur on a weekly basis. And then you also have to measure the quantities of sargassum that you're going to move. So if you spend a lot of money on something that doesn't move a lot of sargassum, then you have to really question the return on investment. So we look at all the possible options, and the best feasible option is the small pickup trucks, right? When you compare all the 3 criteria, the small pickup trucks, they move huge quantities of sargassum. They don't cost a lot, and they're easy to maintain, and they can also be replaced at at smaller costs and smaller investments. And just to give you an idea, last week we moved 190 tons of sargassum, and we have a trailer on like the Bowen and Bowen tractors that they use. We have a trailer. There's 3 pickup trucks, and on one day of the week they bring the dump trucks to collect any accumulations that they have, and we move 190 tons only within this 1 mile.
The sargassum is placed at designated sites, and residents take from it for landfill. Residents and tour operators have been sharing their observations on social media, with one marine biologist reporting that the alarming number of juvenile marine species washing up along the reef. Tour operator Elito Arcio spoke of these impacts.
I like to go fishing. So when you go fishing, let's say you go fishing outside the reef, I was there 2 days ago, you could travel for miles outside the reef, and all you will see in every direction you can possibly see, as far as you can see, are sargassum. And some of them are the size like maybe of a football field or so. You just see the comb. It's massive. Okay, now when you're dealing with the tourists, of course, there's not only if they're canceling, there is a concern. Because as a tour operator, that's how we survive. That's how this community survives, right? And in terms of the government as well, because of all the taxes we pay. So I wouldn't have the information per se, like if a hotel is having cancellations. But if you go on social media and some pages, you do see here some people, I came for 4 days or like 6 days, I left after 3. So we know that there is some effect of that. Yeah. As a matter of fact, 2 days ago at Mexico Rocks, which was a popular site, some of the corals were not even visible. You're in Mexico Rocks because, of course, that's the area. You tie the boat, you can't see the rock.
Yeah, just a big cloud of mud just coming in. That's out the light.
That's what the light, and the water is very brown. Besides water, you can't see it. So people leave. You can't go snorkel. You better go snorkel somewhere else. They fish. That's right. Yeah. There is all over the place. It's not just one spot. Some areas you can see the birds actually from the beach. Towards the reef where the current's kind of taking it out, the birds are eating the fish that is dying. And when I tell you they're dying, there's everything dying. And it's usually a lot of babies, right? The baby sardines, urchins, octopus, bonefish, shad or mojarra, snapper, everything is dead, right? So it's not just one part, one area. I'm sure the whole coast like that. Sure, the whole coastline of the island. Right, it's like that. You see everything dying. My point in saying that yesterday was because the marine biologist who lives close to me, he said that he's seen signs of coral bleaching, and I'm sure you will see that because the brown water, just to make it easier, or discolorization, is actually on top of the corals and in the reef in some areas. If you look in front of town where we are sitting right now, you can actually see maybe a couple 100 feet before it touches the reef itself.
Resorts are doing their own cleanup with 3 shifts per day. Yesterday, we spoke with Kira Foreman, the National Coordinator for Mars Alliance. She emphasized that there are large tracts of coastline that are being severely impacted likewise, but which are not getting any attention.
We're working with species at the top of the trophic level, and while we're making, the shark can swim off into the deep ocean, but the juveniles, the smaller ones, the babies, they're hanging out in the seagrass areas and in the mangrove areas that are heavily being impacted by sargassum, and not just sargassum that we see landing on the beach. If we think of the entire coastline for Belize, we have a lot of coast, and so we are only seeing the ones that we come in contact with in San Pedro. We're not seeing the ones that are landing in recruitment areas where nobody lives, where nobody are. So when we think of it from at that scale, it is a real, it raises concern in terms of recruitment, especially for fisheries as well. Some are economically important species like lobster, juvenile fish, using these areas. So it is important for us to start to look at, what can we put in place? How can we, knowing that we're probably not going to eliminate sargassum coming in, but how do we adapt really to this new reality and put in place mitigation measures?
We'll have more on this story in subsequent newscasts. Last week, the CEO of the Ministry of Transport shared a letter that was sent to the Minister, Dr. Louis Zabani, by 18 bus operators who have pledged their support to the formation of a national bus company. Yesterday, Minister Zabani spoke of the development.
At this point, we have 18 of them that have signed on, and again, we continue to reach out to them to consider the benefits of being a member of this national company, that the larger companies and many of the other medium-sized and smaller companies that comprise the 18 have seen very clearly that there are many, many benefits to being a part of this historic consolidation.
Have the audits started as yet?
The audits are to start early next week. We have gotten through the process because, as you know, we have to get the funding through the Ministry of Finance, and in fact, we're concluding that process as we speak. And the auditors will be reaching out to the 18 members who comprise 65% of the market, I want to add, and they should start that next week.
After 7 months, Chargé d'Affaires David Hodgers departed the U.S. Embassy in Belize. He was appointed effective January 17, 2025. He's being replaced by Catherine Beamer, who is set to assume the position on August 23rd. Since Hodges' departure on August 16th, the Deputy Chief of Mission, Rhonda Slusher, has been holding over. Beamer is a career Foreign Service officer originally from San Diego, California. She's a graduate of Stanford University with degrees in international relations and sociology. She joined the Foreign Service in 2001 and has served in Guatemala, Poland, Slovakia, Bolivia, and the Dominican Republic. Her official biography from the United States Embassy also highlights that while serving as State Department Parsons Fellow at the Senate, she worked on the passage of the bipartisan Sergi Magnista Rule of Accountability Act, which focuses on combating corruptions and human rights violations overseas. She's accompanied by her husband Chase and twin sons Luke and Reed. The Court of Appeal justice who served in Belize will be taking up a seat at the Caribbean Court of Justice bench. Justice Arif Bulkan, a national of Guyana, was selected to fill the vacancy created by the elevation of Honorable Justice Winston Anderson to the presidency of the CCJ on July 4th of this year. Justice Bulkan has a doctorate in philosophy in law from York University in Canada and has served in various capacities regionally and internationally, including as an international law expert. He served in Belize since May of 2022. His term comes to an end on August 31st. Temporarily filling the vacancy at the Belize Court of Appeal will be Senior Counsel Melissa Balderramos Mala, the wife of Cabinet Minister Anthony Mala. Her appointment for 2 months begins on September 1 and runs through to October 31st. According to the Attorney General, the decision was made by the Prime Minister in consultation with the Leader of the Opposition, who expressed no objections. The post is filled. The post to fill the position permanently will be advertised. It's now 1 minute to 7 o'clock, and we will have an update at 12 o'clock and a full broadcast at 5:15, both on Creme Radio. There's also an update at 3 o'clock. Here on XTV, we bring you the entire news broadcast at 6 o'clock this evening. It's now 1 minute after 7 o'clock. We'll take a short break and come back and begin our conversation for this morning.
Informative, accurate, current information. Crem's newscast. Local, regional, and international news. Weather and sports.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank. Building the future together.
Amandala is now online. You can now access Amandala's midweek and weekend issues online by logging on to our website at amandala.com.bz/news and joining our membership portal today. There's 5 easy steps to get unlimited access to weekly e-paper, archive publications, and a host of other exclusive contents. Number 1, go to Amandala's website. Number 2, navigate to subscribed areas. Number 3, choose a membership level. Number 4, check out using our secured portal. Number 5, log into the members only section. Telephone numbers 501-280-4703 or 202-4477. Fax us at 501-222-4702, or you could email at amandalapress@yahoo.com or amandalapress@gmail.com. Amandala, all power to the people.
How will you come from? How will you come from? We from St. Martin, we from St. Martin. Now where you come from?
St. Martin's Festival happening September 7th. Then on the Sunday, I want to make sure I come up bring out the whole family.
Alright people, this is Kenny Gladden representing for the St. Martin's Fest, September the 7th. Nobody will not miss this out because New Creation Band one day there with a lot of other people come in.
Yo, you don't know this is your boy TR Shine, and it's going to be the Martin's Fest right there from Mahogany Boulevard. Cremite, but you don't know if you don't come out, and it's
Alright, we from St. Martin, we from St. Martin. Now where you come from?
We're smart, we've got no doubt. Data dreams without no limitations. We're what it's all about. Come on now, everyone needs data to get through the day. With data that is strong. Data bundles in every single good way. Together's when we belong.
Smart, bringing people together.
back. This is WUB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. As I told you, we have guests coming in this morning. We have the first guest already, and we'd like to introduce you to the general manager of the ITVET. You remember those huge buildings there behind the what used to be called Technical College. And we have its general manager here. He is retired Colonel Ruel Black. And Colonel Black will give us an idea of the, I almost want to call it the resurrection of ITVET. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Good morning. Good morning, Belize.
Yes.
I'm Ruel Black, as Nuri has mentioned, and I'm the manager. And I would like to talk about the ITVET indeed, okay. and what we're doing at the ITVET, because the classes are opening again soon, and we also want to ensure that we get as much trainees as possible to join this school.
Okay, let's start with this ITVET concept, because we know there was first vocational school in Belize.
It's a CET, yes.
Yeah, and then we moved from there to SET,
okay.
which was that big white elephant that is still there on St. Thomas Street. And then the concept came maybe 20 odd years ago. I remember it was being led by the late Dr. Chubby Reno. And there were millions of dollars put into Belize and other part of the Caribbean to develop this thing called an ITVET.
Yes.
Can you tell us conceptually, what was the idea behind an ITVET, and why can you find ITVETs in each one of the Caribbean countries?
Well, it's in each one of the Caribbean countries, and it's in each one of our districts, because the people of Belize need to know that as well.
All right.
That every district has one, to serve the people, the citizens of each district, so that they don't have to travel. And in the Caribbean, the Caribbean National Training Agency was formed to supervise all ITVETs in the Caribbean, and they set out the syllabuses of all the programs that we should we can instruct on, and also, well, we have to modify these programs because it's not one size fits all. So what works for Jamaica, even if it's auto repairs, okay, we might have to tweak it a bit for our purposes, and electrical and all the other things that we have to modify it to suit our country, and each country does that.
Okay.
But they set the general syllabi for all the courses that are promoted along the Caribbean. Also, they supervise it because you can take CXCs in these programs as well.
Okay.
And the Canta is responsible to ensure that the standards are met.
What is the age? Because there was a confusion at one time that you could leave primary school at a certain age, but you couldn't automatically leave at that age and go into ITVET because it was an age requirement. So what is the age for entering the ITVET, and what is the qualification by the way?
So recently the age was changed from 14 to 16 years.
Okay.
Right? And
why was that?
What happened is that when we found out that those who are 14 and 15 and so on have not attained the level of educational qualifications in the high schools.
Okay.
And ITVET needs people who have have a strong grip on mathematics, physics, English, the sciences, and that was lacking.
I see.
Okay, but
so will you be working closely with the STEM program that is right there on your compound?
Well, ITVET is STEM. ITVET is STEAM.
Oh, is that right?
Yes, because
you see how I'm behind. So STEM program is just a part. I know you're in the same compound, but
yes,
it's just an extension of your same ITVET program.
No. This ITSAT Academy is STEAM. They have arts in it. So STEAM, STEAM,
okay,
they have arts in it.
Okay.
But that's a high school. We are not a high school. The Ministry of Education defines us as a non-degree awarding tertiary institution. So we're a sixth form.
So
but
we
don't
still
give
tertiary, okay.
Yes, we're a tertiary institution. And so we have different requirements. Right? Ours is competency-based, where you practice what you learn until you become competent in it.
Okay.
Right? And to talk about the STEM part, because people say ITVET is they have their own ideas what it is, and you mentioned STEM. It's actually supposed to be SETM. Okay? But STEM is better because if you look at it, it's the scientists decide that something can happen, all right?
Yes.
Then the engineer says, this is how it will happen.
It's the technical, yeah.
And then the technicians make it happen and keep it happening.
Okay.
So when you have an equipment, it's not the engineer, the scientists who ensure that it works. It's the technicians, and that's what we are about, to make sure that the technicians are within the country, are available, to ensure that all the things that needs to be repaired within country, we have the skills to do it. And lastly is the mathematics. Okay, so it's nicer to say STEM and STEAM because it's a word, but the acronym is a bit distorted. But that's fine. We can understand. So it is all our technical schools are STEM, and those ones that have arts in it are STEAM. Okay. So that's a topic for the ministry to discuss what all that's about. But for the ITVET, we have developed many programs, introduced many programs, and we have quite a number of qualified instructors teaching for us.
Sounds good. Now, what was said when the program initiated is that we in Belize will be training our trainees to a standard where when graduated, they can go to Jamaica, Trinidad, or any other area and qualify for a job because the same standard of qualification in Belize is what exists in all the other territories. Is that still the case?
That is theoretically the case.
Theoretically only?
Yes. Because we don't have a national training agency yet.
Okay, but don't we have a standard where if I come from Jamaica and I went to an ITVET there, you can qualify me to be able to get a job as a technician?
Well, if you come from the CARICOM, you can work in Belize. You just have to get your CARICOM skills certificate, and then that will qualify you.
But are you connected in that skill qualification? It is the ITVETs that...
Well, it's all citizens of Belize, not only the ITVETs. You can go to any of the Caribbean countries.
Well, what I'm trying to do, Colonel, is I was trying to figure out the concept as I understood it was that there were people who were coming to different territories and they had different levels of qualification. So a person trained as an electrician may be up at a 5, the other one trained in another area might be at a 3. And the idea of the concept of the ITVET was to bring them all up to a 5. Is that still the idea?
That is
only in theory.
Well, it's in theory right now. It exists though. And I am glad you talk about 5 and 3 because there are 5 levels in each one of the programs.
I see. Okay.
And we presently, in up to until 2023, June 2023, we're only teaching level 1. But in industry, when level 1 goes there, level 1s are only helpers. Right? Yeah. They have to be supervised. Then it was noticed that they were not up to the standard that was required, and the industry keeps sending them back, meaning that they don't keep them.
Yeah.
So from June 2023, we raised it up to level 2. So now instead of 1 year, you have to do 2 years, so you get to level 2. And at level 2, for example, in electrical, that's the only level you can go to PUC and apply for your license, your wireman license. That's the only level you can go to ARAC to apply for your air conditioning license and so on. So we have improved it to level 2 now. Level 2 means that you can work alone. Okay, you can give in a room to wire, for example, or a vehicle to fix, and you will be able to fix it, providing it is not too technical for that level. Then level 3, you become a supervisor. You'll be able to supervise.
And but so far you only go up to what level?
In some courses we go to level 3. Like for example, in the culinary program, we graduated some level 3s.
Okay. That means you're that or?
Yes, the person who graduated was a sous chef, and the others have other qualifications that they because in the culinary you have many different.
But you will have a certificate saying graduate in that level
exactly.
at ITVET.
Correct,
okay?
exactly.
And it's accepted wherever you go.
In Belize, yes.
In Belize.
I'm not sure. It is accepted in the Caribbean as well, but you might have to do some other courses there as well, because so, you have to standardize to their whatever their Ministry of Education says.
So, Colonel, we then have not reached what was the original goal yet from 20 years ago. So
we haven't reached it.
We're still going around in circles from 20 years.
Well, you heard that we are getting the MCC. The MCC is dealing with ITVET and technical education as well. So hopefully we'll be able to have that in the next few years.
So let's be happy that we're going to get that
Yes,
250
indeed.
million, right?
Well, only some of it is for ITVET though. Or for
let's hope that it gets properly distributed. But now tell me about the growth of yours. And by the way, I must let you know that we have interviewed the ITVET from Orange Walk repeatedly, almost every year. They're here with their open door and their etc. And they have been doing extremely and very, very impressively. They've been doing good. You must congratulate them. And also the one up in Cayo. I'm glad to know that you're here because the one in Belize City just didn't seem to be getting as much attention in the media as did those two, Cayo and Orange Walk. Has the one in Belize City improved significantly? What is your population now and what is your vision?
Okay, well, in December when I entered the ITVET in Belize City, we had 70 trainees and we had 7 programs, okay, and we had 2 night programs, which were electrical and air conditioning. Now, up to June 30th, 468 students.
468 students?
Yes.
Oh, you've grown significantly since you came there.
Indeed, that the team worked very hard to ensure that we get there.
Okay.
We have the same 7 subjects, 7 programs in the day, because that expanding the day program depends on finances from the Ministry of Education. And if we don't get finance to employ another instructor, then we cannot have another program. But at night, we have more programs and more qualified instructors as well. For example, and I must name some of the few industry supporters that we have. They collaborate with us. We do have a well-rounded and public-private collaboration with them, indeed.
Yes.
Yes. And we have FT Williams, for example. Provide at night.
They're the electrical people, are they?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, electrical and air conditioning, because they provide one of their engineers that teaches level 2 and 3 electrical engineering,
great.
And he can also teach the renewable
energy. Is that the level of qualifications you have for all your instructions?
At night, almost all of them.
For the night. So there's a difference between the day program and the night program?
And then that's simple, because somebody with a master's degree in engineering will not go and work for the little bit of money that we pay for the day full time, right?
So it's a money thing too, yes.
Well, and that's good.
Of course.
That is good.
You're supposed to be paid for your
I'll explain why it's good. Because these persons who have good jobs during the day, they come and work for a stipend for us at night. They are not working for money, they are working to give back. Yes. But we do compensate them for it.
Of course.
And that comes from the tuition that we gain from the student as well for the night courses. FT Williams, for example, also give us an engineer in HVAC, which is air conditioning and refrigeration, and they teach level 2.
So Colonel, how long is your program, by the way?
They are 10 months. All our programs are 10 months.
So, do you have some successes you could tell us about your graduate? Of need in Belize? Because I'll tell you why. I have heard that there are people who have graduated from ITVET who are still out there unemployed and still have not been able to fit in. Is there a reason why that would be?
There's some cases of that, and it has to do with the way of thinking of some of the trainees and the graduates. Because we did graduate quite a number of welders, and all of them were employed by an industry in Cayo.
Great.
But it was lots of dirty hard work in the muds and things like that. And unfortunately, nobody stayed.
When you said dirty, the talk
mud.
Dirt, mud.
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
nobody stayed. Funny nowadays.
Oh, yes, mud and rain and wet.
Yes,
and nobody stayed. Okay, they stayed.
So they never want to do that kind of dirty work.
No. So we do. There are lots of opportunities it, but we do have some successes.
So
that
is
we
that
can
an
talk about.
attitude problem that you find with some of your students, that besides getting academically qualified, they need to mature attitude-wise to be able to adapt to their work environment? Is that another? And I'm asking that question to ask if, are you addressing that in your syllabi to make sure that attitude is such an important characteristic when you're doing a work?
The ITVETs countrywide suffer a stigma, and it unfortunately begins at home as well. That they said, you two don't see, you can't go to school, go to ITVET.
Yeah, when I used to say vocational school,
okay. Which is completely opposite.
Absolutely crazy.
Yes. And so some of them come with that mentality. But what we try to do is show them how much money they can make, for example, because they were from disenfranchised this side of the community where we're poor, and how they can make money. When they finish their first level, they want to hurry go and make money, but that $45 a day is no money whatsoever. So we try to encourage them to stay so that they could get their qualifications, their licenses, so that when they leave, they're making some real money. And not only that, they would have already learned how to do research to self-improve. Whilst in the very beginning, they are not doing that. We are teaching them how the hands-on, how the thing works, and how to keep it working. All right.
So you're saying from 16 years old, because it's no longer 14. How far up do you go? Can an old man like myself go back to ITVET?
Mr. Vernon is here, and he will tell you exactly how old is his oldest student.
Okay, good. Brother Vernon, good to see you, man. Good to see you. So what we have now is the automotive instructor from ITVET in the Belize district, and he's our brother Eric Vernon. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you, my brother.
Good to see you. Good to see you. You hear the conversation.
Yes.
So jump in. We really are trying to figure out now. We know that ITVET Belize district is obviously, I would say, you get some adrenaline because you seem to be coming back alive. Your building had turned into an elephant over there at one point. People when they said a lone ghost thing here in the building. Right. So it's good to know that it's been kicked off and that you have a military leader here. So in your opinion, are the young graduates, male and female, right, that are coming out of your program, are they finding jobs, or are they coming out here still saying, I got qualification, but I can't find a job?
I just want to go back to the previous question that you asked about
Sure,
age.
absolutely, yes.
My eldest student is 84 years old.
You serious?
Yeah. You know the guy, Mr. Boyd, Horatio Boyd.
Yeah, he's there.
He used to ride.
Yes, man. So he's there,
Yeah,
So he would go there now because he want to, and certainly not to go get a job, but he want to know to
just to keep active and
keep his brain moving.
And he is doing exceptionally well.
One of your best students at 84.
Yes.
You know to hear that?
Age is not a factor. Man.
Oh, great.
But what happens is that a lot of people used to complain about trade schools in Belize. Like, they needed to go to a school where they could come up to that level to get out here and meet the industry standards. And GOB, Ministry of Education and the minister heard the cry, and they reached out to several of us who decided to come in to make that change.
All right.
They have invested in us. We can't complain. As a matter of fact, I just got back from electric and the hybrid vehicles and electric. I just came back from a training in Jamaica.
Excellent. So then it's been,
well,
I mean, to qualify and to bring you up to the standard.
So what they're actually doing is training the trainer.
Right.
So like bring us to that level where we can deliver.
Yeah.
So ITVET, Belize City will be rolling out a new module.
Okay.
In the not too distant future.
Yeah.
because electric is the way to go right now.
Yes, yes, certainly.
It's here, we can't, but in the same breath, we have other courses that we do. We do the level 1 and level 2, automotive, the ICE vehicles, the internal combustion engines. And like in level 1, we get to introduce the trainees to different areas of the trade. Like for instance, when they come in, they would learn about the chassis, what's the purpose of that, transmission, brakes, steering, suspension, and then in level 2 now we go to we build on that, where they get into diagnostics.
Right,
and,
right.
But to answer your question, the level that Mr. Black, his style of management, he don't limit the instructor. He encourages the instructor.
Excellent.
And that is a extremely comfortable atmosphere.
He's not insecure, you see. He builds, he gives you. But let me ask you this, because and our time is limited. One of the problems that we have faced, and this can go back to you, General Manager, is that we have had a lot of people who have half of the bread in terms of understanding. You know, it might have gotten a little bit of electrical, but they could at least come in here and wire one part of your house for a drastically reduced cost from where you have to pay the well-qualified, certified electrician. So you have a lot of that still going on, a lot of that still going on in the plumbing. You got a lot of that still going on. And, you know, somebody doing some furniture repair for me recently, we got a piece of nail still to stick up, which shows you that some basic things, we still got some very unqualified people out there in the trades. What can you do about that? I mean,
we're addressing that because we have a night program particularly for that. If you love this skill, you don't have it and you want to get certified, then you come at night from 5:30 to 8:30 at night, 2 times a week, for 10 weeks, 10 months, and you will get polished in that area.
Right. But what about the enforcement of those who are not doing it? Who are, and I'm talking now, they wire their house and then 6 months later, while they did a work, something go on and they burn down their house. So I'm saying, what is being done to ensure that only qualified individuals trained properly are in the market?
That's a matter for the Public Utilities Commission. They are the enforcers for that, and they are the one who ensure that when a building is being built, that a qualified electrician is doing the building itself.
Okay.
But I guess the one you're talking about is when you put an extension that the Public Utilities Commission is not involved in, and they just add on load to the existing load center, which is your box that you have there with all the circuit breakers. Then you start overloading that. Whilst a qualified electrician will tell you, well, you're putting this amount of load, you have to change this load center because it's too small. But many people just want to add it on and add it on and add it on, and then that's where the problem arises. But to go to the other part, we ensure that we have these programs, and we have many night programs actually. We have from small appliance repairs, we have we're doing the water supply system course, which was originally plumbing, but it's more than that now. We're doing automotive as well. We're doing auto body repairs, and the auto body repairs actually was so large that we had to have 2 classes for it. We have air conditioning, and that again was so large. We had 5 classes of air conditioning and 5 classes of electrical because of the demand. We have the cosmetology. We have AutoCAD, and I want to mention something about AutoCAD because for those persons living with diverse abilities, if you're in a wheelchair, AutoCAD is your course because you need your head and your fingers, and you can design buildings in a nice, comfortable environment.
So you're saying those who are
in wheelchairs?
They're welcome to come and become a part of it.
Everybody's welcome to come, and we have done marketing to go around to every, even the rural areas, for them to come to school.
Well, I'm certainly glad to know that if you're 84 years old that you can go in, because what they're saying now, Mr. Vernon, is that to stave off dementia Alzheimer's, learn a new skill.
Right.
You may be a retiree, you don't really need the money, you don't need to go work, but if you get in there and learn how and going almost like you're going back to school, it helps you with dementia.
I would like to address one more thing though. Those persons who are not 16, okay, but are not going to school and they have the required qualifications, we don't just leave them out as well. We have what we call a pre-vocational course, which is 2 years long. And what we do, we look at your transcript and see if that's where you will fit in.
Okay.
And we have a dedicated instructor who brings you up to the standard in math, science, English.
Excellent.
For you to be able to join a course. So 14 to 16, you can go to the pre-vocational course, but you cannot enter a trade before 16 because 16, 17, 18 you start working. And if you graduate at 17, you're not officially authorized to work.
Right. We need to change that system.
One more thing I want to add is that being at ITVET, the instructors that they have are well qualified, and in the same breath, a lot of the students, they want to pursue that, having their own business. Just so you know, we don't just teach trade. We have, like, in the likes of Mrs. Kano.
Just a minute, caller.
Who teaches small business.
Or like one of the entrepreneurship course.
Exactly. So we teach them the trade, and Mrs. Kano teaches them how to manage their business.
Excellent. All right.
It's a well-rounded program.
Okay, we're coming to the close of the program now, but caller, if you have a question, please make it, and then we'll get a closing comment from our guests. Go ahead.
Brother Nuri, good morning.
Yes, sir. Woo! Collymore. It gotta be short, Collymore, because me and you know this time
I'll make it as quick as possible.
All right, then, sir. Good. You might get frightened just now.
Let's say I have a vehicle.
Yeah.
And I am petrified to go to anybody, even the lead people on West Track Holiday, because where these guys are getting scary out there. I don't went on a street side mechanic. I don't want to go to these guys because you're going to, with one thing they end up to tell you a whole lot. Can I take my vehicle to ITVET and whatever the outcome is, because I want to help the landlord my vehicle, but maybe they go up on my vehicle, so they do that there?
Good question.
Of course.
The answer is yes.
Of course. Just so you know, we launched a preventative maintenance program that has been rolled out to the general public.
All right, good.
Where you bring in your vehicle, we will assess it for you, we'll let you know what is critical, what needs to be changed.
Diagnostic. Wow.
Right? And then we work out
at a cost though.
Of course, but for
I know.
It's just $40.
All right, that's reasonable.
And we'll tell you exactly what is wrong with it. So if this gentleman have a problem with his vehicle, we have one of the best diagnostic tool in the country. So
you don't think you're getting no kind of kickback from Commerce or any of these other business establishments saying that you're taking business away from legitimate?
In fact, they support us, and they are glad we're doing that, because the students don't stay at ITVET and do this for life. They will go and join them. So the more experience and the more practice they have, it's better. We have good, excellent mentorship from Belize Diesel as well, from BC, Ford, and Kia, and Napa Supplies. They give us the supplies that are reduced rate.
So they bought into the idea of the expanded idea. Course. All right, well, let me give you both some closing. You got 30 seconds, my brother. Go ahead.
The main reason I'm here right now is because I have a wealth of knowledge in my head that I need to pass on to the youth men of this country. Gone are the days when you can learn automotive on the street side. ITVET is the way to go, and if you want to excel in electric and the hybrid vehicles, I am fully qualified and ready and willing to pass on my knowledge now.
You hear that, parents? Make sure that you get your child, male or female, or even your older child, in a qualified program. You got the last word, Colonel Black.
I want to give this message to the general population that for every student every trainee who graduates from ITVET and has a skill, we remove one social challenge from the society. So we'd like to encourage you to send your children. Don't worry about the stigma. The proof of the pudding is in the eating. When they leave from there, you will see the results.
Indeed.
And you'll be happy that they went there. We have a cadre of instructors, both from industry and from the Ministry of Education. They're dedicated for the education of your children. And we have continuous marketing. So don't think about September, I missed it, so I cannot go. No, you come in October, you come in November, you come in December. You come to school. We will take care of the rest.
Excellent, excellent. Well, with that kind of leadership that you guys are promoting, that's great. And the highest level of academia is supposed to have been Harvard and Oxford and Cambridge. But there's also a highest level of technology, which is MIT. And MIT is like at the highest level that you can go in the United States when it comes to technology. So this idea that somehow we have to stay in a clerical academia and look down at academics, or I should say look down at the vocational aspect and the mechanical aspect of education is completely out nowadays. You're not supposed to think like that.
It is completely out because those in the clerical field, those you yourself here and everybody else, the equipment that you use, it's the same technicians that keeps it working.
Exactly.
So when it breaks down, you say, oh, I will take it to the stigmatized ITVET to fix.
Yeah.
Because these are the technicians who are qualified to fix it.
Who can do what they have to do.
Yes.
And they do it at a slightly reduced cost likewise. So thank you both very much for being here. We encourage you. Is there a telephone number that we could leave in case somebody wants to?
203-4798.
203-4798.
4798. And then if you want to send a WhatsApp to the office, it's 673-2033. Sorry, 2034.
All right, good. We hope that you will support this. This is where we need to go. We cannot provide jobs, clerical and business jobs for all of our graduates, but we certainly can provide the skills where individuals can go out and start their own enterprise.
Next week we have an open house, the 28th.
Okay.
That where people, the general public, can come in. Disciplines and trades that the school has to offer.
Yes.
So the general public is welcome at the ITVET compound on Freetown.
We encourage you.
I hope to see you.
Well, tell me about 84 year old. All right. We'll take this break and we'll be right back.
You're watching WUB. This is XTV and 4 Point Security. Big up on yourself for being our #1 sponsor. Big up Friday. Make we go find all the people and big up.
Big up Agatha Pickney, you know, straight business, you know.
Don't say it.
Bobby King, Car Wash, big up the Dread, Checkered Box, and big up Billy's.
Big up to XTV, big up to myself. Big up to all the big man there, where try to make positive steps in your life. You know, big up Brick, big up me home boy there, where try to do positivity. And I say big up on yourself here.
My old lady, Agnes Tunes, big up my old boy. My Canarales, my lady Sherika Hume, so the kids them. I dig. I can't call it a name, I call it too much today.
Tired of replacing light bulbs? LEDs are what you need. LEDs last up to 30,000 hours. That's 30 times longer than incandescent bulbs, and up to 8 times longer than compact fluorescents. So less changing and less trash. Planet Earth thanks you. And the LED experts at Brothers Habet and Habet will help you find the best LED solution with colors for every room and mood, starting as low as $6.95. You can even get LED strips for home, office, and industrial use. So say goodbye to fluorescent tubes forever. And because they use up to 90% less energy, you save money. Money you can spend on other things. So head to Brothers Habet or Habet and Habet today. You can also call, email, or Facebook us. Have a brilliant day.
En Atlantic Bank, tu comodidad es nuestra prioridad. Nuestro centro de contacto está diseñado para mejorar tu experiencia bancaria. Con una amplia gama de opciones de servicio al cliente, ahorras tiempo y esfuerzo. Puedes llamar fácilmente para bloquear o desbloquear tus tarjetas de débito y crédito, realizar consultas de cuentas y acceder a información detallada de tus tarjetas. Ya sea que necesites asistencia con la banca en línea, apoyo para comercios o consultas generales, nuestro equipo está listo para ayudarte. Para mayor comodidad, si todos los operadores están ocupados, puedes dejar tu número y un operador te devolverá la llamada lo antes posible para asegurarse de que recibas el apoyo que necesitas. Para mayor seguridad, es posible que necesitemos verificar tu identidad con un conjunto de preguntas sencillas. Recuerda, Atlantic Bank nunca solicitará tu nombre de tu usuario ni contraseña de Atlantic Online por llamada telefónica, mensaje de texto o correo electrónico, asegurando que tu información personal permanezca segura y protegida. Nuestro equipo de apoyo está disponible de lunes a viernes, de 8 a.m. a 6 p.m. en inglés y en español. Simplemente marca al 223-1212. Esta es la línea dedicada para nuestro centro de contacto. Atlantic Bank se compromete a brindarte un servicio excepcional y las herramientas que necesitas para administrar tus finanzas de manera conveniente y segura. Aprovecha al máximo nuestro servicio del centro de contacto.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
We're smart, we've got no doubt. Data dreams without no limitations. We're what it's all about. Come on now, everyone needs data to get through the day. With data that is strong. Data bundles in every single good way. Together's when we belong.
Smart, bringing people together.
Welcome to Design Depot, where you'll find premium quality products from trusted brands, all in one place. today. For quality products, expert service, and the brands you trust. Design Depot, all in one place.
Belize introduced its new electronic passport in 2022 through the launch of the Electronic Passport Issuance and Control System, EPICS. The e-passport includes an electronic chip that safeguards the holder's personal information and photograph. It also features a verification mechanism compatible with biometric systems such as smart gates at international borders. The passport's design reflects national pride, showcasing Belizean landmarks and symbols. It incorporates 26 modern security elements to prevent fraud and corruption. The introduction of the e-passport aims to enhance security, improve processing efficiency, and reduce application backlogs, benefiting Belizeans both domestically and abroad. The Ministry of Immigration, strengthening national sovereignty, security, and socio-economic development.
How will you come from? How will you come from? We from St. Martin, we from St. Martin. Now where you come from?
St. Martin's Festival happening September 7th. Then on the Sunday, I want to make sure I come up bring out the whole family.
Alright people, this is Kenny Gladden representing for the St. Martin's Fest, September the 7th. Nobody will not miss this out because New Creation Band one day there with a lot of other people come in.
Yo, you don't know this is your boy TR Shine and it's going to be the Martins Fest right there from Mahogany Boulevard. Cremite, we don't know if you don't come out and it's
we from St. Martin, we from St. Martin. Now where you come from?
WUB, Wake Up Belize, morning vibes. I'm getting an echo here. Let me try to see if I can fix this so I don't get this disturbed. Let's correct this, Christy. All right, welcome back. This is WUB, Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes. And we have our guest now. He is the Honorable Kevin Bernard. Kevin Bernard is the Minister of Health and Wellness. This is his second term. He has had an extensive term in public service as the Mayor of Orange Walk. I believe he had been elected several times in that position. And he's well known as a people's man, and we're very happy to have him here as our guest this morning. Welcome, Brother Minister.
Good morning, Nuri, and it's a privilege to be here. I know we were scheduled to be here earlier this week or last week. I don't recall, but thank you for rescheduling and allowing me to join you this morning.
Well, I know that you were enthusiastic to come on last week, and we understand sometimes in your busy schedule that there's sometimes a hiccup. But we're glad that we have you today to continue on, and many of the questions that we had from last week are just as relevant this week. I want to start with something that is right in front of us right now, Minister Bernard, and that is dengue. I ask you this because one of our colleagues here, his son is right now suffering from dengue. So can you give us an idea of what is the state of dengue in Belize at this time?
Well, for me to give you a proper report in terms of what is happening in dengue, let me tell you that we know that in Belize City, especially the Belize district, there has been a rise in the dengue cases that has been reported. I know that we have teams across the country at this moment going around making sure that we are doing the spraying, we are making sure that we are addressing the necessary issues. But in Belize City, for example, we have had to hire additional persons to ensure that we can carry out the spraying in the entire district. I think we hired about additional temporary about 6 or 7 workers to ensure that we were able to cover the entire Belize district. While we understand that from a public health matter, dengue is the preventable matter. I know that there has been campaigns going out. We have been putting out messages, we have been putting out advertisements, we have been making sure that our public health inspectors are out on the ground at the same time. Through the rural communities, our community health workers are out on the ground at the same time as well, talking to people, ensuring that we remember that dengue can be controlled, and we need to remove things that hold water, for example, old tires, receptacles within your yard, especially in this rainy season. And there was, like I said, there was a high increase, especially in the Belize district and I think in the Cayo district, but Belize City especially. So there has been high importance placed in the Belize district area. And I know that the ministry has been doing its part to ensure that we can get on the ground and making sure we could try to control this issue.
What I hear from people is that it doesn't seem to be a year-round campaign. It seems to come only when there is one report of a case of dengue. Is there a problem of doing a year-round coverage with the vector control? Is that even realistic, or is it something only during the rainy season?
We have our vector unit and our public health inspectors out every single day doing public health work, doing vector work. And so to say that it's not a year-round matter or a year-round campaign, I think that the ministry has consistently been on the ground. I know that we have on numerous occasions put out various advertisements in all aspects of public health. And I think that while dengue, yes, has been on the forefront over the past few weeks, there are many issues that confront us from a public health concern. And so we have to constantly be addressing those matters as we go along. But I can tell you that public awareness, I know that public health officers also take opportunity, even when school are ongoing, for example. They go into the schools, they talk to people, they go into the communities. Our community health workers join our public health inspectors to educate people in terms of these things. So it's also a part of culture that we need to fix in terms of preventing these issues from occurring. Because it's like I said, it's a preventable disease. It's not something that cannot be controlled.
It is. Well, jumping to another area of great interest is medication, pharmaceuticals. There is the repeated complaint, not only when you have been minister, but it's been going back for quite some years now. It seems as though we are not on top of our procurement for medication. And so every so often people complain that they go to the hospital or to the various clinics and they can't access the medication and have to be told you have to go and buy it in the regular pharmacy. What is being done to correct that problem? I know in your last administration you had to deal with it, but it seems to be a persistent problem. Why is it that we continue to run in this shortage of medication? And is there some hustle going on why the ministry ends up not having satisfactory medication for the public?
There are two things, Nuri, Brother Nuri, that I think I need to address here.
Sure.
The issue of supply and demand, the issue of forecasting, the issue of proper planning. I think that as when we request from our regions, when we request from our people to say that listen, we need to ensure that we're putting out a forecast of what we expect. We have to understand that during the COVID years, there was a high demand for certain products, and there was limited supply of certain other products out of our control. Hoarding occurred, and so that period when we came into office really was difficult for us. We are trying now to fix that, and I understand the concern of nurses, I understand the concern of our medical practitioners, I understand the concerns of our patients, especially our Belizean residents who have to access the service.
Yeah.
In trying to correct this issue, we recently ensured that at our new tender cycle, we are looking at a possible 2-year cycle, a possible rollover, because we had to ensure that over the past, I think, month or so, we had to do a emergency order because we did run out of some critical supplies. Now, I cannot answer to some of the issues within the Belize district as it relates to some institutions, because I think that when we bundle the challenges we have both at KHMH and at the community facilities or clinics that we manage under the Ministry of Health and Wellness, KTMH has its own procurement processes at the same time for some medication because the ministry provides certain amount of medication. But there is indeed challenges. I don't want to cast blame on anybody because the buck stops where it needs to go. At the end of the day, we need to ensure that we are putting in efficient procedures in place, and that's one of the reasons why we put forward this year a process that we want to see less bureaucracy. I mean, let me put this up front. Sometimes the bureaucracy within the processes is what causes a lot of these delays.
Absolutely.
I can tell you that our tender committee met, look at the review, the processes, got all these things done, could have done all these things at the same time. But at the end of the day, we have to start to put a lot of focus and more how would I want to put it? More emphasis on the fact that we need to put priority on health. I think that in the case of the Ministry of Finance, we need to ensure that they understand from a health perspective what are the priorities, because we cannot have a process so long delayed at the Ministry of Finance, for example. And I'm not saying, when I say Ministry of Finance, I'm not saying the political directorate. It's the process that occurs within who reviews, who makes sure that they're checking, who makes sure.
But why can't you and your colleagues in the cabinet fix that? Because I've been hearing that it's a bureaucratic mix-up for quite some years. Why is it that you cannot say to the Ministry of Finance, look, our priority is critical. We're talking about the health of our people, and we cannot continue to give our people inferior medication because, yes, while they swallow the pill, if it's not fixing the problem, it simply means that these people will have to come back to us some years down the road with a more expensive treatment needed. So why is it that cabinet cannot speak realistically to those types of challenges? Why is it that, you know?
But let me say though that cabinet has agreed and cabinet has supported the Ministry of Health and Wellness on every occasion. I can tell you this, that whenever I take any discussions to cabinet or paper to cabinet for the Ministry of Health and Wellness, we have always been supported. And so that I could give my respect to the Prime Minister and our colleagues, that we have not had that situation. I'm saying that what occurs is a bureaucratic process that happens within the system. And so while we don't want to cast blame on an individual institution or individual entity, I am saying that the process sometimes takes too long. However, what we have done this year, as I said, is to improve that by making sure that we have looked at the entire tender process, looked at the entire needs and demands and usages of medical supplies and pharmaceuticals across the country, and to ensure that we are able to put forward a proper plan. And I think that once this cycle is completed, we will be able to correct a lot of the issues that is occurring right now. But let me highlight though, Nuri, that right now in country, we have received that emergency 3-month supply, which will cover us for the 3 months that we are talking about. And as we speak, delivery is being made across the country, KHMH to all the facilities, to ensure that we are able to address the many issues that we encounter. I know that I've gotten texts, I've gotten calls, I've gotten messages from persons, especially those suffering from mental health matters. Their family members have reached out to me, and I've said to them that we have placed priority on these medications, and those medications are now in country and are already being distributed. In fact, I am here in Placencia, as I said to you, on a leadership workshop with our management team, because we want to ensure that there's a renewed focus, there's a renewed vision, in terms of how we move the ministry forward. But at the same time, I was able to touch base with the person in charge of the Central Medical Store, and I asked him for an update. And he said that we are already working, they are out on the ground, there are people are distributing. So our facilities are getting the needed medication that is required at this point in time to cover that shortage that had occurred.
It just seems that
we want to ensure that we could correct this issue and that it's not repeated.
It needs to be corrected, Minister Bernard, because it's not solving the problem if you still have people out there saying that they're not getting their medication when they go to the pharmacy, to the dispensary in the hospital. You still have a problem.
But let me also point out something though, Nuri, that sometimes, many a times, right? Like I said, I cannot speak to KHMH as it relates to our ministry because they have their own affairs.
Well, let's stop there for a minute because you're confusing me. This is the second time you're saying this. There's a separation, we know, between the government's responsibility at KHMH, which is yours, and then the board that runs KHMH. Most of the time when we talk about KHMH, we don't see that board. We see you.
Yeah, you don't see that. You see me.
All right?
Yes.
So
but remember,
help us to clarify exactly what's the relationship between you as the ministry overall with all national health concern and the KHMH here in Belize City?
We have to remember that KHMH is an authority. It's a statutory body. And it has its own autonomy. The Ministry of Health is a regulatory body over the institution, but it's managed by a board. It's managed by a board of we call a board of trustees, and so it has its own affairs. It hires its own people. It puts in its own protocols and so forth. However, the ministry provides a subvention. The government provides a subvention to KHMH when it comes to certain things, and of course we, for the most part, we have to provide certain amount of medication to KHMH, but they too, in their own management, has to ensure that that the collection rate is improved. I think that very critically important is that they have been doing their utmost best. The government has always supported the Houston Memorial Hospital authority in terms of trying to find best ways to improve.
So Minister, when people complain about not being able to get medication in Ghana Hospital, of course, then they talk about KHMH. They don't blame Miss Sandra, Miss Cancino and them people. They blame you. They don't blame the CEO over there. They blame you. So even though you're saying there is this board and this ministry is the supervisory over that board, nobody talks about the board. They blame you.
And you see, I don't want to put KHMH in a position either, because it's not just KHMH. And when it comes to Belize district, we have to understand that there's also the polyclinics and the community hospital facilities that we are in charge of.
Yes.
And so it's coupled with the blame has to be all across.
Okay, let's go
we have to ensure the ministry that we take responsibility.
All right, let's focus on specifically in terms of this medication, the psychoactive drugs that come in to assist people with mental problems. As you know, a couple of months ago, the question was put to you as to, well, what's going on? People are walking around in a daze because they cannot find their proper medication. But one of the complaints has also been that our government is only able to afford a certain level and that there are far better medications but far more expensive. Can you speak to that in terms of your procurement process for mental health pharmaceuticals?
Well, one of the things, Nuri, that I understand, and I've always asked this question, because as you know, even in medicine, it's a it's always changing. There are new drugs coming on board, whether it is for mental health, whether it is for cardiac situations, whether it is for many other matter, cancer treatment. And so, yes, there's certain medications that is on the formulary that we do have and provide for persons that has matters that has to deal with mental health, and so I think the challenge has been over the past few weeks was the fact that there was indeed under forecast for the number of usage that we have for these necessary medications, and so we have corrected that, and I can tell you that the ministry and our CEO has worked along with the regions to ensure that we can get the required amount of medication that is needed to address our mental health patients. And one of the priorities that has been placed is the reviewing of the formulary. And I think that what the chief drug inspector and the chief pharmacist have been doing over the past few months is to do a comprehensive review of what is it that what are new changes out there. And that's one of the things that I wanted to say, a little correction I wanted to say though, when you mentioned
please go ahead.
Inferior drugs. It's not that inferior drugs are being given to our people, because at the end of the day, we have to understand that the ministry is obligated, and that's why we have a drug inspectorate unit who goes out, and that's one of the challenges we face every single day. Our drug inspectors go out there, do inspections, and then when you see people calling and say, but then they harass me. But it's not that. It's that the fact that our people are doing their job to take out those illegal or contraband drugs that are on some shelves across this country. And so when they do their job, you have all the complaints. But it's not that. It's that because we want to ensure that the necessary things that we put in place are there to protect the citizens of this country. Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why we recently took to cabinet the new regulations and the new changes and amendment to the drug Act, because we have to protect the citizens of this country who has to use these products. And so there have to be stiffer penalties. There have to be laws that will adapt to the new changing environment that we have. And so we have to ensure that we, as a ministry, we are doing these things. And so we are doing our part to ensure that we are putting these regulations in place to protect the health and wellness of our people.
Please tell us, what is the protocol in your ministry for addressing the concerns of mental health patients? In Belize City, for example, we're still seeing people walking around, obviously suffering from these issues, sometimes half naked in the streets. People that you can clearly see are in need of some attention. What is the protocol, though? Is it that in Belize we believe in allowing people with mental health issues to walk freely in the streets and not be institutionalized? Where are the institutions? I know that we had something at Rockview one time, and I know that there's a facility in Belmopan. But we have mental health issues in all districts, villages, towns. So what is the protocol of the government when it comes to addressing its citizens that have mental health issues?
You see, Nuri, when I took over this ministry, I've always had some questions sometimes. And we as citizens also have to bear in mind that not everybody you see on the street are mental patients or have some challenges with mental health. There are other social health determinants that are creating some of these challenges. The abuse of alcohol, the abuse of drugs. And so you may not necessarily be a mental patient, while you see some people on the corner of Albert Street. I use Belize City, for example, because there's a lot of issues there. But the ministry, and working along with the police, working along with human development, we are also looking at that entire aspect. Because yes, you want to ensure that these persons are being treated, they're getting their medications, they are being looked after. And so we at the ministry, what we have to do is ensure that there's constant monitoring, there's constant liaising with the family members, with persons. Sometimes there's a lack of support that causes these persons who are on the streets as well, as we consider homeless. But not everybody that you see on the street side and street corner are mental patients. It's a fact. And I raised this question because I said to my team at the ministry, why is it that we constantly get the blame? The ministry gets the blame that, oh, we're not doing anything for these people. But it's not so. We have been constantly addressing, constantly making sure we reach out. I know that in the Belize district especially, there have been efforts made to try and get these people working along with human development to get them into some homes. But the Palm View Center, which is, as you rightly said, in Belmopan, can only house a certain amount of persons.
Very few.
What you want is that these people are treated and not institutionalized as much. But there are some who need to be institutionalized. And so we are currently at the same time, but when I mentioned it, I think in my last debate in the House budget presentation, that we are working on expansion of the Palm View Center. We have gotten funding and support from, I don't remember if it's a World Bank or IDB. I stand to be corrected on that matter, where the funding is going to be supported from. But we're going to expand the Palm View Center for the mere fact that I think we were looking at an additional 25 rooms so that we could care and treat for those persons who really need to be in the institution. What I think we do need to see, though, is the support from family members for those persons who are suffering from these type of challenges. And I think that's where we have a big challenge. And it's no one's fault. When persons with suffering from mental challenges, not taking their drugs on time, not getting the medication on time, become aggressive. And then family members tend to, I am not dealing with this problem, but they put the problem out on the government. They put the problem out on others. You deal with that problem for me. And so we have to take the responsibility. If we have a family within our own family, for example, and we have a person suffering from it, we have to support. We have to support the government, because at the end of the day, we cannot depend that the government can take care of every single person.
Yeah, but the government is elected to solve problems that we cannot, as citizens, solve. And yes, you have the expertise.
I agree.
You have the expertise. You have not only the expertise, but you have the responsibility to find the expertise to solve the problems that we as average citizens cannot solve. If my son or daughter begins to give me serious mental problems, there's so much that my love and care can help. After that, it requires expertise.
I totally agree, and I don't want to be taken in the wrong context. What I'm saying is that we all have to play a part. Yes. Because as you said, you can go as far as you can as an individual, as a parent, as a brother, as an uncle, or as a relative, to support somebody who's challenged in those situations. But you rely on the institutions, you rely on the support from the government that is able to provide that necessary attention. And that's what we are trying to do in terms of reaching out, making sure there's a public awareness. Because you know that in every part of this country, There's a mental health hotline. There's a mental health unit. That's where people can go and seek attention, seek support, seek guidance. But we do have at the ministry where we have been doing our utmost best in trying to adjust. We are now looking at a new mental health policy, for example. When you look at the legislation that exists for mental health, it's old. It's
must be very
discriminatory. You know, so we have to fix that. We have to change all these things to ensure that we're able to adapt to the new and changing time.
We hope that you will pay attention to that, Minister, because seriously,
it's a priority.
Everybody talks about mental health from so many different perspectives, but primarily it is the buck stops with you, because you are part of our wellness, and mental health is a part of wellness, Anyway, we'll stop if you don't mind, Minister. We'll take a break and we'll come right back with this very interesting conversation.
No problem.
Stay tuned.
To earn V-Bucks, you must make purchases at any Benny's locations or its entities near you. The more you spend, the more you earn. You also get double the V-Bucks on promotional days. Multiple purchases completed in a single day cannot be combined and will be considered separately. Benny's is committed to offering you competitive prices on all your purchases. Now value is added with V-Bucks. To learn more, visit our website at www.vbucks.bz. Remember, loyalty is always rewarding with V-Bucks. Brought to you by Benny's. Quality and savings.
Let's take a journey through the core functions of the Social Security Board. It all starts with registering as an insured person, employer, or self-employed individual. Sign up for a portal account to manage your Social Security information online. Just provide accurate information and click Create. This will give you access to a range of services and benefits. Next, your contribution, along with investments and other income, are collected and distributed into 3 funds. This ensures that the SSB fund is securely utilized to support various benefit programs. The SSB is committed to providing essential benefits such as sickness, maternity, injury, and pension. These benefits are paid out to eligible individuals as a part of the Social Security coverage. We help you navigate through life's challenges with financial security. Annual surplus accumulates to grow the fund each year. This surplus is invested into various industries, contributing to the growth and development of our nation. With each passing year, the fund continues to grow due to the annual surplus and interest revenue earned from prudent investments. This surplus, along with reserves, helps to bolster the SSB fund and provide a safety net for those in need. We've arrived at the end of our journey to better understanding how the SSB works. We remain committed to serving you and building a secure future for all Belizeans.
The biggest business event of the year is back and better than ever. The Expo Belize Marketplace 2025. Mark your calendars and join us on September 13th and 14th at the Marion Jones Sporting Complex in Belize City. Don't miss your chance to explore hundreds of local businesses showcasing the very best in local products and services. From unbeatable deals and mouth-watering food and drinks to live entertainment that'll keep you moving. The Expo Belize Marketplace has it all. Whether you're shopping, discovering what's new on the market, or just enjoying the vibes, there's definitely something for everyone. So come on out and celebrate 29 years of Belizean innovation at the Expo Belize Marketplace 2025. See you there.
Whether you are a busy person or stuck in traffic or having an adverse or very demanding circumstance, tension builds up, causing you to be stressed out. Stress attacks everyone, anytime, any age. And stress is a killer. Palm City? It's best to be alive than dead. So visit Freetown Drugstore to get options to relieve stress and to relax your mind.
This time, what can I do for you today?
I'm so stressed out.
Okay, I'm saying I help you right now. When I this daily, for 10 days, I am good after that, okay?
Okay.
Freetown Drugstore, 28 Freetown Road, where you are better off alive than dead. Freetown Drugstore, telephone 223-2876.
Planning a trip to Belize? Here's how to complete your I Declare Arrival form in 5 easy steps. Step 1. Visit belizetravel.immigration.gov.bz. Step 2. Select the appropriate forms for arrivals. Choose Arriving to Belize. Step 3. Provide your origin trip details, including your departure airport and country of residence. Step 4. Carefully complete the immigration form. Add dependents if necessary. Declare baggage, currency, and merchandise, and confirm your entries are correct. Step 5. Download your completed form and take a screenshot of your QR code and reference ID to present to the immigration officer. Thank you for using Belize iTravel. Safe journey.
Los nuevos billetes de Belice presentan a héroes nacionales. Pero, ¿cómo reflejan los billetes el patrimonio de nuestro país? La nueva serie de billetes celebra las dos dimensiones de la moneda: un medio de intercambio y una representación de nuestro patrimonio beliceño. El Banco Central se compromete a mantener nuestra moneda no solo segura, sino también una fuente de orgullo nacional. Cada denominación presenta un tema del paisaje beliceño, incluyendo edificios históricos, atracciones arqueológicas y marinas, cascadas y ríos, aves y vida silvestre. Estos son una parte central de nuestro patrimonio nacional y un tributo a este lugar que llamamos hogar. Nueva imagen, mismo valor, nuestro patrimonio. Para obtener más información, visite www.centralbank.org.bz. Un comunicado del Banco Central de Belice.
Welcome back. This is WUB Wake Up Belize Morning Vibes on a Friday morning, and we're having a very open and I would say very clear conversation with the Minister of Health and Wellness in Belize, Minister Kevin Bernard. And thank you very much for being with us, Brother Kevin. You're making your answers very clear and easy to understand. Let me move on to another subject besides, mental health and the whole idea of medicines. And that is this life and death situation with dialysis, kidney failure. We recognize that the statistics are telling us that kidney failure is becoming an increasing problem in the entire region of the Caribbean. Belize no exception. But the treatment is a very expensive treatment, and so it prohibits a person who don't have the means to get the necessary treatment or die. So I'm asking you, and I pretty much know the answer, but I prefer to put it in public. What is your feeling in regards to this, and what has your ministry done to try to address this clear gap between the need and the demand? If I want to put it in that supply and demand type of equation, there's so much demand for it, but very little supply to that demand. What would you say in regards to addressing the issue of kidney failure in Belize?
Thank you for that question, Brother Nuri, and I know that it's a very challenging situation. In fact, I know that there's many persons who have been suffering from this very terrible issue and has to end up on dialysis. And as you rightly said, it's a very costly treatment. Through the government of Belize, we have tried our very best to put a number of patients that we can afford at the ministry for on the government program. But while I understand the fact that we cannot do everything, it's a big challenge. And when I visited, I will tell you my experience. When I visited Guadalajara, I believe it was last year, and I did a visit at one of the institutions and look at what they do in the Ministry of Health there. And I think that one of the services that they also provide is peritoneal services. And that's where people take the dialysis at home, self-treatment. But it requires a lot of resources. It requires an individual having a clean space, a well-protected environment, because as you know, that treatment is very high risk. And so we have to look at various ways. Right now, as you know, dialysis treatment is not provided by the government hospitals, except for KHMH, who does some services for the ministry, where we contract them and then they provide some level of treatment as a tertiary facility. But it's for the main part private sector driven. I as an individual, and I will speak frankly here and candidly here, that I think that at some point the Ministry of Health should look at how we, or the government of Belize, should look at how we can provide this kind of service at our facilities. The challenge we have is the fact that there's limited human resources when it comes to nephrologists across this country. So you have dialysis centers, even in the private sector, that are challenged because they don't have the necessary personnel to fill the gaps that is required. And that's one of the reasons why when we sign the yearly contracts with these facilities, there's a limited amount that they can agree to because of the influx of persons that go outside of the government program, that access their system, and they don't have all the necessary human resources. Because to get a nephrologist, for example, in country is difficult. We have to depend on many occasions on the Cuban Brigade, for example, where we ask that we have a nephrologist that comes in on that normal shift. In the public health system, I think if we have 2 or 3 nephrologists in this public health system, it's a lot.
Wow.
We are having challenges, and that's one of the things I'm saying to the team, that we have to really look at the profile of our medical practitioners and encourage our doctors who are out there studying to get specialized. We need more specialty in this country. We need to look at more pediatrics. We need to look at more gynecologists. We need to look at, in the public health system I'm talking about, because we fight, we're on the challenge, and we compete with the private sector for these type of talents. And that's one of the things that I think when the Prime Minister had mentioned the fact that there's not much in this country, it was in that context that he was referring to, that we're challenged by that. And in the public health system, in the health sector, we have that big problem. At the same time, we have a big challenge when our people are being hoarded over by bigger countries for better income, better salaries. And that's one of the things that at the ministry we have been looking at in trying to see how we could attract and retain our people by giving them a better income. And so and Cabinet has been very fully supportive of our papers that we took in terms of addressing the medical doctors, medical officers, addressing the nurses, addressing these issues. And so I know that there's always demands. There's always need to look at improving the standard of living for employees. And so I always put myself in their shoe because at the end of the day we are all humans. And we have to look after them. As you rightly said, though, I wanted to touch this. That what I think is important, that there's a lot to be done. There's a lot to be desired. And I think that what we want to see, and I'm making this publicly here, and I know that as a government, as a ministry, we have said this to some of our colleagues in the Ministry of Finance, that we need to see an increase in the budget for dialysis treatment to support. And I think that the Bolido funds that are being acquired, some of that can come to increase the number of persons that we put on the dialysis program. And I think that was something that they were looking at. And I must thank those persons at the Ministry of Finance who have been understanding our cry and our plea for this type of thing. Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of persons, Brother Nuri, and you know that personally, that need that support, that requires that support. Absolutely. Especially on the dialysis program.
Absolutely. There's another area that you brought up just now in regards to losing our nurses and doctors. We train our nurses here and they get highly qualified as registered nurses and beyond, and then we lose them to higher salaries elsewhere. The same thing goes for doctors. One who may hear, I'm a nephrologist, but I'll get $2 if I stay at Belize, but I'll get $10 if I go to States. How could you keep a nephrologist after gone through extra study? He must have great love for Belize and its people to stay here compared to the attractive salary that he would get or she would get elsewhere. So I ask you that question in context of this hiccup over the last couple of months from Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, who has threatened countries like Belize, saying that if we entertain Cuban medical personnel in our country, that in fact we are involved in slave labor and that we are misusing these people. And they have even gone as far as threatening and saying that those countries, their medical people, in fact, they've gone even beyond that and saying that any country that they find culpable, they're gonna remove their visa. You have said in other media that you're not concerned about that, you have not been threatened. But put it in the context of us needing nurses and doctors. Cuba has nurses and doctors, and we are being forced in a situation here where we cannot access these nurses and doctors from Cuba and elsewhere because we've got this threat hanging over our heads. Can you address that?
I think what is important, Brother Nuri, to point out, and I have said it before, as you said, that Belize has been very clear in its position and its support to the Cuban people. But at the end of the day, we have to clear the air in terms of the fact that our procedures, our policies that we put in place is not considered causing any kind of how I would want to in their terminology, where we are forcing or forced labor, because these persons are paid directly. It's not paid to the government of Cuba. They are paid directly in Belizean bank accounts, and so it's just like anybody who comes to work in this country and has a work permit. There's a specific diplomatic relation that is made in terms of those persons who come to our country from Cuba to work, and so I think we have been able to justify to the American government when it comes to that matter. As opposed to some other countries, I cannot speak for other countries. I can tell you how we operate in Belize in terms of the remuneration goes to these individuals. It's not going to the government of Cuba, but it goes in the direct hands and pockets of those persons who are working in this country, providing a service, and a very more important service to our people, because they are here to help fill the gap. Now, I can tell you, however, the government of Belize and the Ministry of Health is always looking at other alternatives, always looking at how we can get additional support. We're looking at Nicaragua, we have been looking at Mexico, we've been looking at our neighboring country in El Salvador that is able to provide additional support. And we also rely on the United States government in terms of the capacities that they can provide and support that they can provide in countries. So it's a whole wide range of issues, but at the end of the day, as I said, we remain committed to ensuring that we are providing the necessary needed services to our Belizean people. Yes, and yes, there's a gap. As I said, yes, there are gaps because some of these same big countries, and it's not only health, because I can tell you something right now. I recall just a year ago assisting a teacher trying to lobby for her at the Ministry of Education, getting them a scholarship at the University of Belize, and lo and behold, she's now teaching in the United States of America. After getting a scholarship, after fulfilling her dream in Belize, that poached. Where is the love for your country? And I beg those questions because at the end of the day, it's a personal decision. You can't force persons to stay, but at the same time, I think that we have to make a conscious decision on ourselves and say, you know what, my government has supported me, our people have supported me, taxpayers have supported me. Why not stay?
I was told, Minister, that you're not seeing people fulfilling their bond, as I was told maybe 20, 30 years ago or more, that when the government gave you a scholarship, particularly to go out and do medicine, that you had to sign a bond. And with that bond, when you came back, there were X amount of time that you had to give back to the government as a kind of a payment for your scholarship.
It's something that is very important to look at. I know that that's managed through the Ministry of Education because these persons go through that process, and I think that some training has to happen where persons are being held to account. If the people's purse is paying your education, then you ought to give back that service at least for 5 years. I believe that is my position, and I've said it that we have to strengthen that. And I know that there has been several discussions that has been had when it comes to that issue, and I think that the Ministry of Education is looking at that and working along with our ministry from a health, because remember, it's not just Ministry of Health people that goes to get scholarships. It's in different areas. I mean, you have the Ministry of Infrastructure, Education, all these areas. Now, your second question had to do with the matter of repeat what you said just now. I think
them double dipping this issue.
Those persons who are working both in the private and public sector. From an individual perspective, I have a big problem with that, and I think that if you are in the government service, you should provide 100% service to the government. Because of the gap that we have, because of the human resource gap, because of the limited specialities that we have to depend on persons who also provide service in the private sector. But I believe that it's an ethical issue, because how can you, as an individual, and I'm not putting no blame on any individual, but it has happened.
No name.
Call no name, they say, right? But at the end of the day, it's a reality, and we have to put it out there as it is, where somebody could be at our public facility being told, oh, we can't do it, just to get you to go to a private facility where they also work and charge you 10 times the amount.
Yeah.
That's, for my part, that's criminal.
Indeed.
Criminal in mindset. Because at the end of the day, you know that that patient can get that support and that service right here at a public facility, whether it is at the Northern Regional, whether it's at KHMH, whether it is at Western Regional, any facility in this country that provides surgical services. I've seen it, Brother Nuri, every single day. In fact, yesterday, I got a request from one of my colleagues asking for support for a patient. And as I looked at the document, I'm not a medical professional, but as I look at the document, it's a C-section. I said, but this person could get this thing at Western Regional Hospital free of cost. Why is it that we are forcing persons to go and take these basic services at private institutions when you can get that same C-section done at our Western Regional Hospital, any regional hospital? And that's a big thing, because at the end of the day, I've seen it, we have heard it, and it's a reality. It's happening at KHMH, it's happening at every one of our facilities where we have persons, and again, I'm saying, I'm not casting blame on an individual, but I'm calling it out, because we have to fix that problem.
It's a big problem.
Yes, it is a big problem.
Yeah.
And I know that I might be offending a few people here.
Yeah.
Because their interest is their money.
Yeah.
Their interest is how I'm getting an additional source of income.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the backs of hard working and vulnerable people in this country.
I want to ask you something here based on something that was told to me by the late Dr. Tega. Oh man, this must be about 40 years ago. He said to me, Nuri, according to the Hippocratic Oath, no doctor should be out in the private sector doing advertisement for their services. He said there's an unethical aspect of that you are supposed to be of service to people, and here you are advertising like this is a new tire, it's a new car, or you could get the best service over here, or we are the best medical area. He says something is ethically wrong. No, this is 40 years ago. And maybe at that time, it might have been a very rare occasion that you would see an individual advertisement. But now, Minister Bernard, that's standard. Not only Belize, but all over the place they are advertising.
That's what I'm saying.
Medical in the private sector.
That's what I'm saying. It's not just a challenge in our country as well. And I agree with you. It's a challenge across the globe, happening all over. But I also want to admire some of those persons who are in the private sector and work with the public sector, who have been very, very ethical in their ways and their work ethics. Because there are many doctors at the same time who sign a fact that, you know what, I'm going to provide a service to the public sector, and I'm not going to partake in my private business. There's lots across this country. And so we owe it to them at the same time. So it's not to say that we're just, like I said, we're not throwing over a blanket over everybody, because there are those who have been doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But we want to really ask those persons who are doing that, because we know it's happening, to please, man, have a conscience, have a heart. If you care for the profession, then do it with compassion, do it with sincerity, and do it with the love that you have for what you do. As I said, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical specialist or anything, but I believe in service. And I think that if we all here to provide a service, whether in the private or public sector, when it comes to health, we must do so with one thing in mind, that we must have compassion, we must have a heart, and we must have the will to want to do it the right way.
Great. I think we'll use that as our closing for this very, very good interview this morning, very full of information. Thank you very much. I'll give you a final word if you could put it into 30 seconds, Minister.
Well, thank you, Brother Nuri. And I think that what is important for me in being on this program, I know we could go on and talk a lot. Just over the past few days, and I think that one of the important message I said to my team here in Placencia, that if we are to provide the level of leadership that this country expects, that this country desire from the Ministry of Health, then it's something, it's delivery, or as I put it, service delivery, that should always be at its highest quality, its highest level. Because, as I said in my message yesterday, leadership goes beyond policy documents or mission statements. It must be lived. It must be consistent. It must be done courageously and compassionately, as I used earlier just a while ago. Every single day. And leadership is not just the people at the top, but leadership goes every single layer of the organization.
Absolutely.
Everybody who has a position of leadership within the organization must lead by example. And I think that while we at the ministry want to ensure that we refocusing our vision, refocusing our direction, it goes beyond just the Ministry of Health. It goes beyond the whole public sector, the whole private sector, the whole country. Because we must serve people with honesty, with integrity, with compassion, but at the same time with the hope that we want to see things change. We want to see the betterment of our society. We want to see individual lift up other than be dragged down. And so that is always my position, Brother Nuri, and I live by that. Yes. I follow that creed by my mother, and I have always said, you treat people how you want to be treated. I will end with that.
That's the golden rule. Thank you very much, Minister Bernard. I have a list of other issues here I wanted to touch with you, but we said we will keep it in mind. But when you come back, I don't want to leave brought a question, and that is, we've been talking over the last 2 or 3 years with our colleague Jerry Enriquez, who, as you know, has been promoting mindfulness, which is wellness in another way. And I'm a little bit surprised, and I asked him the last time he was here, how is it that the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Health hasn't drawn him in as a advisor or even as a promoter of this concept of mindfulness, when it is so important not only for clinical purposes but also for your own staff, bringing them up to a certain level of consciousness. I know I burden you with the question now, but that came to my mind also, that mindfulness, which is a part of what you are, Ministry of Health and Wellness. And wellness has everything to do with your sense of calm and your sense of purpose, etc., etc. Well, I'll burden you with that question right now.
I could answer that, but I will tell you that we are doing our part at the ministry internally, in terms of addressing our staff, making sure that there's wellness centers, corners, spaces for our people. But I mean, we can have a discussion on that on the whole. And I have said to my directors that from the wellness perspective, there's much more to be done, much more to be desired.
Yeah.
And we are going to push that. In fact, Cabinet has approved a recent paper for us to ensure that we have wellness coordinators across this country to push the initiative, healthy living, a healthier Belize and a healthier nation.
Okay, and we've got a highly qualified mentor in Jerry Enriquez, who is a trainer of trainers all over the world, and he should be utilized. Thank you again, Minister. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and we take that into consideration.
All right.
Have a good day.
Sir. Good.
All right.
Here's our last break.
Every moment matter with your credit card. More transactions, more chances to win cash back. You can be one of 4 monthly winners. Get a chance to win cash back with every purchase of $100 or more. For more information, visit www.atlabank.com. Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
How will you come from? How will you come from? We from St. Martin, we from St. Martin. Now where you come from?
St. Martin's Festival happening September 7th. Then on the Sunday, I want to make sure I come up bring out the whole families.
Alright people, this is Kenny Gladden representing for the St. Martin's Fest, September the 7th. Nobody will not miss this out because New Creation Band one day there with a lot of other people come in.
Yo, you don't know this is your boy TR Shine and it's going to be the Martin's Fest right there from Mahogany Boulevard. Cremite, but you don't know if you don't come out and it's
we from St. Martin, we from St. Martin. Now where you come from?
we've come to the end of today's program, the 22nd day of August. Thank you very much. Very interesting conversation with Minister Bernard. I think he covered a number of areas that I think that we needed to have a good understanding on. And I want to thank Colonel Black and also Mr. Vernon from ITVET for giving us hope in the resurgence of the ITVET here in Belize City, and encourage you even beyond the so-called school age that if you are interested in taking up something, culinary, learning how to cook, learning how to deal with mechanics, a little bit of electrical work, that you could still go in there and keep the mind busy in one of their courses. But of course it is focusing primarily on young people 16 years and older to qualify themselves in these areas of technology. So we encourage you to do that. And we want to thank Minister Bernard for giving us an overview of the works that is being done by the Ministry of Works. So let us thank the people in the background today. We had Sister Christy Flowers actually playing two roles today, doubling up as the MCO but also as the director here of the program this morning. Downstairs we had Anthony Grant, and I've been seeing Alexi Bilad running around doing this and that, so we want to thank all of them. These are the people in the background. You don't know their faces, but if we didn't have these people, then you would not see Mose, Yaya, and myself as you do here in front of the camera. So we thank them. And we thank you for your continued support and engagement in trying to keep this forum at the level that it is. It is you that help us to keep it at the level that it is, and it doesn't fall down to just be one nasty gutter sniping talk about this one, talk about that one type of show. It is not that. This is an educational show that you are in fact able to take the tape and 2 weeks from now play it back and get just as much information and knowledge out of the interviews and the conversations that we have here on WUB. So it is very important for us to live up to that higher standard that we try to live up to. So Belizeans, stand strong and stand firm, do the right thing. For now, we go!
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Use B-Bucks to purchase items at any Benny's location. Spend B-Bucks on items in-store after you have earned them. You can gift or transfer B-Bucks to another B-Bucks member or registered charity. To learn more, visit our website at www.bbucks.bz. Remember, loyalty is always rewarding with B-Bucks. Brought to you by Benny's. Quality and savings.
Here's how to access your contribution history on the My Social Security portal. First, go to your browser and type ssbportal.org.bz. Enter your email and password, then click Log In. Once logged in, you'll see your full portal account on the screen. On the left-hand side, you'll notice a drop-down menu for added features. Click on History. Choose Contributions. Read the disclaimer, then click Continue. You'll now see a full window displaying your contribution history. In the table, each row represents a different year. For example, let's look at the year 2024. Click on the row and a detailed breakdown will appear. This breakdown includes your employer's name, your earnings for each month and week, contribution type, the amounts paid, and that's how you can explore the new contribution feature on the My Social Security portal. It's quick, easy, and keeps your Social Security information right at your fingertips. Create your account today.
How will you come from? How will you come from? They want to know. We from St. Martin, we from St. Martin. Now where you come from?
St. Martin's Festival happening September 7th. Then on the Sunday, I want to make sure I come up bring out the whole family.
Alright people, this is Kenny Gladden representing for the St. Martin's Fest, September the 7th. Nobody will not miss this up because New Creation Band one day there with a lot of other people come in.
Yo, you don't know this is your boy TR Shine and it's going to be the Martin's Fest right there from Mahogany, Boulevard, Cremite. You don't know if you don't come out and it's
Alright, we from St. Martin, we from St. Martin. Now where you come from?
Los nuevos billetes de Belice presentan a héroes nacionales. Pero, ¿cómo reflejan los billetes el patrimonio de nuestro país? La nueva serie de billetes celebra las dos dimensiones de la moneda, un medio de intercambio y una representación de nuestro patrimonio beliceño. El Banco Central se compromete a mantener nuestra moneda no solo segura, sino también una fuente de orgullo nacional. Cada denominación presenta un tema del paisaje beliceño, incluyendo edificios históricos, atracciones arqueológicas y marinas, cascadas y ríos, aves y vida silvestre. Estos son una parte central de nuestro patrimonio nacional y un tributo a este lugar que llamamos hogar. Nueva imagen, mismo valor, nuestro patrimonio. Para obtener más información, visite www.centralbank.org.bz. Un comunicado del Banco Central de Belice.
Nobody feel left out is the vibe we dealing. Let's find a solution. Yeah. No respect on selfishness and cooperation. That's how we need to build a strong nation. We are the people to make the changes. We are the changes to WUB. And all the things that must happen and not got blue skies. And nothing that people get victimized. Let's work together for better. We got to unite. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. Another day is here. Wake up, Belize. Wake up, Belize. We gotta keep moving. Na, 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 na.